Hey there, I'm Jenny T with SimpleSewingProjects.com, and I'm going to show you how to make this fun Valentine's Day quilted placemat with mitered corners. Let's gather the supplies you'll need to make your quilted placemat. First, you'll need your face fabric, the fabric that will be on top that you'll see the most, and you should have a piece of fabric cut to 12 by 16 inches wide by 12 inches long. You'll need the second piece of fabric, which could be the same. It could be something completely different, something fun that contrasts with the top, whatever you want. And that will be on the back side of your placemat, and leave that piece of fabric at least 2 inches wider and longer, okay? And we'll trim it down to the right size later after we've quilted everything. You'll need a piece of batting, and you'll want this to be the same size as your back fabric, okay? Again, bigger than the final 12 inches by 16 inches. You'll need some, for this project I'm going to show you how to use double bias tape. You can find this in your craft or fabric store, and what it is when it's unfolded, it is 3 inches wide, but it's folded double, which will make a nice, clean, binded edge along your placemat. Now there are other ways to bind your placemat, but we're going to use double folded binding that you can find in just about any fabric store, really, any kind of craft or fabric store. So I got a light pink to go with this particular placemat. Pick a color that works well for you, and you'll probably need a little bit more than 2 yards of binding for each placemat, so keep that in mind when you go to shop, because I think each package is about 3 yards. And then for the top design, you'll want some craft felt. Really, you can use just about any fabric you want for your top design. I mean, after all, this is your placemat. But for the one that I'm going to make here today, I'm using craft felt, and I went ahead and cut out a simple heart in white that will go on top after I've started assembling things. So once you have all that, you'll still need your sewing machine and some matching thread that you want to see on the actual fabric itself. So I have a pink fabric on top. I may want to use pink thread. You could also do something contrasting. It's a Valentine's Day placemat, so I could use red thread, pink thread, white thread. When I quilt this, you're going to see it on top. So that's up to you. That's your decision. But just keep that in mind when you're picking out your thread. Nice new sharp sewing needle for this, because you're going through a lot of layers and you don't want anything to jam up on your machine. And let's get started. Alright, now you're going to layer your cut fabric and batting. You're going to take your back fabric and you're going to lay it right side down, wrong side facing up. You take your batting and lay that down so that it's pretty well aligned with all side edges. Okay? And then take your face fabric, your top fabric, and lay that wrong side down on the batting so that's fairly centered in between the the side edges here on top of the batting, and have right side up. Alright, so you have a sandwich here. You have your face fabric, your batting, and your back fabric. Okay? Once you have that, it's smooth and laying flat, you're going to take this to the machine, and you're going to do your first few quilting stitches. Very simple stitches. You're going to sew a straight stitch down the center of your placemat, and then down the horizontal center of your placemat, and then going to sew a diagonal from corner to corner, and then again on the other side from corner to corner. Okay, this is a very basic quilting design for this particular placemat. You are welcome to get creative with your quilting, but for anyone who's a beginner, you're going to do simple straight lines down the center, across the center, and then each diagonal. And then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so once you've done your basic quilting, it's time to add your design. And for me, it's this cutout craft heart. and I'm going to place it where I think it's going to look best. Maybe a little off center at an angle. I might play with this a little bit more. And then it's going to be real simple, because I don't want this to be a complicated project. I want this done, I want it to look nice, and then use my placemats. So I'm going to place this craft heart where I think it looks best, and then I'm going to take my machine and I'm going to sew about 1/4 of an inch inside the outside edge of this heart all the way around to give it some quilting effect, and of course to sew it to the placemat and just to give it a little bit of design here. Okay, so real simple. I'm going to place your design here and just stitch all the way around. Okay, now I have my heart stitched to the placemat, and you can see that the stitching is pretty close to the raw edge, but about 1/4 inch in, and it gives a nice quilted feeling here on the center of the heart. And now it's time to bind these edges so everything is finished. So go ahead and take your scissors and trim off all this excess along your face fabric edge here. Okay, just take some scissors and just start trimming off just like this, all the way around on all 4 edges.